the toxic rain hitting as high as Canada now. Do you guys have any intel on that as far as uh, how that rain may be affecting things or can affect us as time goes on?
Well, don't forget the chemtrail aerosoling. It's still going on. And it is, number one, a mixture of barium salt, metal. It is, number two, aluminum. And it is not only those two, but it's a whole list of other chemistry that's being aerosoled out of those planes. It
Right.
started off with barium. It was only barium in the very beginning, but they've added. And now you have polymer fibers from DARPA, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. That's a mouthful to say. Uh, they are experimenting with those aerosols and have been for many years. So when you put moisture in the air, you're mixing with a lot of unknown chemistry from the aerosols or from the chemtrail, the chemical trails coming out of the aircraft.
Hmm.
That was a Navy program. It is still a Navy program. The CIA has been involved in that since the very beginning, using their aircraft and some of their people to design some of that program. The CIA designed a lot of that program for the Navy out of Wright-Patterson. I don't think I've ever said that before, but it's true. We can even tell you who did it, but I'm not. I'm not going to do it. Burn matches under my fingernails, I wouldn't do that. Because of the person mainly. The chemistry of the atmosphere today is it changes, but it's generally toxic, even without the water from the Gulf. The sun is now radiating that atmosphere and the people. It is not healthy to stay out in the sun because there are indicators that the protective fields around the Earth are falling, and you probably have all kinds of radiation coming through onto the surface of the Earth, to the vegetables, to the leaves, and the people and the animals. We know that if animals live outside for any period of time, they will get sick and they will die early deaths. Same for the people. You will develop problems in your body and even in your mind. There's a lot of mental going on right now, and it could be any number of things, but it's not just a natural occurrence right now. So you're breathing all of this chemistry. It's affecting your bodies, and then you introduce the poison water, or the methane water, or the benzene water out of the Gulf. If you live down there, you have the chemtrails atmosphere, and you have the chemistry of the Gulf to contend with, and it's lethal. We believe it's lethal. It will be lethal as time goes on, especially if people are drinking the water. If that well starts pumping out of the sides into the aquifers on the land, and people start drinking the water out of their wells, or any other source that it is exposed to, susceptible to that water, they're going to get sick, and you have millions of people that do that.
And there's a precedent for this, Griff. Anybody that needs proof that this can happen, it's happening right now on the other side of the world in Indonesia. An energy company was drilling in Indonesia and hit a methane pocket, and it caused what's called a mud volcano. And this mud volcano has been spewing about 100,000 tons of mud a day, along with an unbelievable amount of methane. So much so that the city, now this happened in a population center, is being pretty much swallowed by this volcano. And there's gas bubbling out of their toilets, there's gas bubbling out of their wells, and it's all because they drilled down too far in the name of greed, and now there's no way you can stop it. But anybody that wants to do that, just go onto YouTube. There's some news clips on there. If you just YouTube search Indonesia mud volcano, you'll see it. This happened in 2006, and it's still going today. They cannot stop it. So, and this is on the surface. This is on the surface. This isn't in 5,000 feet of water. And that's what totally boggles my mind, is that people can be so naive sometimes as to think that what they are doing right now is going to be effective. You know, and the drilling company that did it over in Indonesia, although they put up $400 million to relocate people, they still deny that they are liable for this accident. And they're only putting up that $400 million because the government of Indonesia pretty much strong-armed them into doing it. So there is a precedent here that you can go and see on the other side of the world in Indonesia. Take a look, because the parallels are chilling. And just because it's not in an ocean, and just because it's not 5,000 feet down, doesn't mean that we're not looking at something very similar. So when I found that the other day, Griff, that really blew me away, to see that there is actually something going on that almost mirrors what we're seeing over in the Gulf of Mexico.
Yes, it's frightening.
So
I will tell you again. Let me just parenthesis and inject this. The thing that really frightened me was looking at that ALTA chart the other day and seeing that line go straight down.
Right. Well, what does that mean, Griff, when the line goes straight down?
That means that's the kind of line that you would have had at Hiroshima and Nagasaki with Colonel Tibbett dropping the atomic bomb on the city. And people understand what I mean here. I don't mean that I expect an atomic bomb to drop, but that's the kind of event, that's the type of event, or the suddenness of the event, the magnitude of the event that would give you a graph line that goes straight down.
Well, let me ask you this, because some of our listeners aren't familiar with the webbot. Could you give a little background on it and then explain what that line is and what it means when it goes up and down?
In a few words.
Sure. No, by all means.
It's going to take a bunch of words to explain.
That's okay.
I've never had anything hit me so strong as noticing the shape and the direction of that line in a document that I think is pretty accurate. The webbot, the ALTA report, is a computer run across the internet, and it's based on emotional value of words on the internet. And somehow there is a correlation between the millions of words on the internet spoken by people or typed by people, capturing those emotional values of the people. Something to do with mental, something to do with behavior, something to do with course they've selected, and it's expressed in a report put out by Cliff High in Washington State. And he has computer systems that are running 24/7 with spiders capturing those emotional values all over the internet, all over the world. And he writes a report based on that, and he makes projections into the future. He's been amazingly accurate. I've never been so impressed with anything in my life. I've seen a lot of stuff in my lifetime, but the ALTA report is really breathtaking to me. And recently he put a chart showing what he believes he's interpreted as the attack on Iran by Israel, and then several months later the retaliation by the Arab nations against Israel and the United States. And at the end of the line, it goes straight down, like something major has occurred, probably, I would think, to the United States, straight down. And it goes off the bottom of the page, like that's it. That's the way I interpreted it. I wanted to make another comment about the Gulf states. I know we're jumping around a little bit, but
that's okay. Probably
no other way to do it with topics that cover such an area. When the people evacuate down there, you have people of Florida, because they're pretty much at sea level. It's not a real neat place to be right now, I don't believe, because of their water tables and the atmosphere.